What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Nice Catch Podcast. We're here to catch you up on the latest football news and analysis. I'm Hank.
And I'm Baden. And today we're going to be talking about some new NFL uniform changes and NFL uniforms in general.
Yeah. And today you get a gift. We have a special guest, Coen, with us, who is going to be doing kind of a blind ranking of NFL uniforms because if you've been following some of the media behind it and the fan bases, some are not very happy about them. But hey, having,
unbiased opinion.
Oh yeah, unbiased opinion. So, Coen, you go first. Do you have the uniforms pulled up, or do you want me to pull them up for you?
Yeah, pull if you can.
Great. Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Okay, so we got the new ones. We got the Texans. We got all new uniforms.
Oh yeah.
And then next.
Oh yeah. Detroit. Yeah.
Okay.
These are all pretty cool.
Okay, so rank or tell I don't remember what the order is on there.
Yeah.
So we got Texans, Lions, Broncos, and Jets. All got new uniforms. And so give us a quick 1 to 4 ranking and kind of your reasoning behind it.
All right. We're gonna start with probably my favorite. Probably gonna be the Texans. It's hard to go with like their new helmet design. It's just too clean. I'm just gonna be honest. And then they're all red alternates. It's just, yeah, you can't get any better than that. And then also with their black and red outlining with the numbers and names, and then their helmets with kind of gives me Oiler vibes with the blue. And then probably my next one, probably gonna be Jets. It just looks so slick to me. I don't know. And then their new logo, it just brings back the old logo, to be honest. And I don't know. It just looks slick and clean.
Yeah.
I really don't know how else to describe it. And then Detroit, their jerseys look nice too, with their black and then the light blue helmets. So that's all. Those are also pretty dope, if you were to ask me. And then the Broncos coming in last. I don't know what they were going with it, like they're trying to go old school or what, but yeah, that'd probably be my rankings 1 to 4 would be Texans, Jets, Lions, and Broncos.
All right.
Boom.
Cool. I like it. Thanks, Coen.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Coen.
Yeah, I mean, you can stay on while we're talking about these. Yeah, I think the media really doesn't like the Broncos uniforms. And yeah, I ranked him at 4 too. I don't think they look terrible, like a lot of people say. I think, like I said last episode with the Guardian caps, it's not as big a deal, but it's something we'll all get used to. But yeah, I like the Texans. Bold change. Looks great, especially for a team that's up and coming like them. The Lions. So yeah, I agreed with what Coen said. I just flipped the Lions and Jets. Man, that alternate jersey, it's gonna look really cool, especially if you bring in the 49ers. I don't remember what their schedule is like this season, but you bring in a team like the 49ers, or maybe even wear them when they play the Cowboys this season. Man, that's going to be an intimidating jersey. And the Jets, didn't change much. I love the Jets blackout jersey, though. And the Broncos, I think pretty much everyone says, can we just keep their throwbacks? Like, just make their throwbacks be their all-time uniforms. I think that would be the best, the one the fans like the most.
Definitely.
What do you think, Baden?
At number 1 for me, I would say the Texans specifically for the H-Town jersey. The helmet with the H on it, I would say that specific uniform bumps it up. Like Coen was saying, it gives me Oilers vibes, and my dad loves the Oilers, so that's good for the brink home. So I like Houston is my favorite for that uniform specifically. Number 2,
definitely I got to go Detroit. The blackout with the like that light blue helmet. Oh my gosh, I think that's so cool. That's probably one of my favorite uniforms in the NFL right now. Just out of the ones that have come out. Then Jets, I like the logo. It's a big thing. I think the logo looks really cool. It looks cool on the helmets, especially with the blackout uniforms. And then, yeah, I don't think the Broncos look bad, but they're just kind of plain. You know, they're not they don't really stand out like the blackout uniform for Detroit or the red ones for the Texans. They're just kind of another uniform. So they're definitely at the bottom. I wouldn't say they're like the worst uniform in the league, but out of the 4 changes we've had, they're definitely at the bottom of these new 4, I would say.
Yeah, and then we've had a couple other minor changes. You know that you're not a good team whenever the biggest news that comes out of your offseason is you're changing the color of your face mask.
Yeah.
Hello, Cleveland Browns. Coen was saying before he went on air, he's like, limited NFL knowledge, but Browns still stink.
Yep.
They're still bad.
He knows one thing. He knows the Browns stink.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, and you look at the Deshaun Watson trade after that's finished. Look at all the players the Texans got from Deshaun Watson.
Seriously.
And I think it's pretty clear who won that trade. Maybe he'll turn it around. Maybe the Browns will win a Super Bowl.
Hopefully not.
Even then, I think the Texans should probably have more success than the Browns.
I think the Chiefs are going to three-peat.
Yeah.
That's what we talked about the last time. But
I think Chiefs three-peat might be inevitable. So, if it happens, we'll say you called it, Coen.
There we go.
All right. Well, thanks, Coen, for your unbiased takes on the uniform changes. So, turns out the Broncos aren't just a media hated jerseys. They're just hated jerseys.
They're just hated. They're just not that cool.
No, throwbacks are cool.
Not that great.
And their alternate, it's the all navy. Just like put the navy helmet on that jersey because they have when they put the white helmet on the navy.
Yeah, the white
alternate jersey.
At least in the pictures, they had the white helmet with the navy jersey.
Yeah,
instead of just going all navy. I thought the white helmet looked cool.
It did.
But you can't have it with you can't have a white helmet with a really dark jersey. You got to put it with the white like the Bengals their alternates where it's all white.
They're zebra jerseys.
They're zebra jerseys. Exactly. You gotta match it correctly, and they're not matching it correctly.
Yeah, I feel that. So, also, Browns fans. Hopefully, you got to enjoy some some headlines from your fan base with a new face mask. And white face mask looks nice. I think the Browns white alternate jerseys have looked okay. Nice change.
I think they look cool.
But
orange and brown. I mean, I just want to know who came up with that as their colors.
Yeah.
But they do a good job with their uniforms
for
what they've been given, which isn't very much.
No. So next, let's talk about just our favorite jerseys overall. All of it, all of the above. Or say you can pull jerseys from anywhere. You got not anywhere.
Sticking NFL here.
I put some college on my list.
Ah, okay.
I don't know. We can try to do NFL, or we can do just NFL if you want.
No, we're good.
Okay.
All right.
And so, I think let's do it this way. Let's make our top 5. I'll say my number 5. You say your number 5, and so we'll build up to number 1. I'm gonna start with some honorable mentions for me.
Okay.
You can too if you want. Honorable mentions for me. I already mentioned Jets Blackout, Texans Battle Red. Those are cool. I think one of the most underrated alternate jerseys are the Colts Indianapolis Knights jerseys with the cool looking blue with the black helmet. I think if they were a top tier team, that jersey would be getting a lot more love. But I think that's one of the most underrated jerseys. And then we're going to throw a couple of throwbacks in here. These didn't quite make it to the top 5, but the Falcons throwbacks, I think, especially, the history with Dion. And yeah, I think the modern version of the Falcons throwbacks, it's really clean. It's different.
Yeah.
And then I used to really not like Cowboys jerseys. Their general home They're like white shirt with the 3 different shades of blue. Kind of weird. Don't like that. I love, what's generally your Thanksgiving Day jersey. You got white pants, white shirt with the blue sleeves and the star on the shoulder, and then you got the white helmet with the Navy star. If that was their all-time home jersey, if they stick with the white theme, that's almost top 5. That's my number 6. So I guess it's technically the white color rush, but it's a throwback too. So Baden, you have honorable mentions?
I do. I will say, is it Oklahoma State? No, or Oregon State. The Beavers. The black and orange. I like that. That's definitely an honorable mention for me. Can I give a dishonorable mention?
Yeah.
I think 2 years ago when TCU put red in their helmet.
Agreed.
Purple, black, white, and red.
Yeah, that was
dishonorable mention.
There are a lot of people that love that jersey.
One of the worst uniforms I've ever seen.
I think my least favorite, if we're going dishonorable mentions, it's maybe a hot take. Sorry, Las Vegas Raiders fans, but it's the Raiders. Sure, you give them black and silver and white to work with. It's not much there, but still, come on, think of something creative instead of just a black shirt with a silver number.
Yeah. You ready for your number 5?
I'm ready for my number 5. You?
All right, I am.
All right. Number 5 for me, we have the Seattle Seahawks green color rush. Man, especially just the Seattle jerseys are already pretty cool. Then you get all neon green. Man, especially when their defense is good.
Oh yeah.
A light green, neon green hits different on offense, but on defense,
and you're blowing
if
people up.
Jamal Adams is coming at you from his safety position,
highlighter green.
Man, that's great. Love those jerseys. That's my number 5. It's your number 5.
My number 5, and I mean, it's just kind of nostalgic for me. It's been my favorite color combination since the 6th grade. Is I gave TCU a dishonorable mention, but now I'm gonna give them an honorable mention. TCU's black with, I think, the newer ones that have almost like the purple around the neck and the shoulders. That's my number 5. Purple and black is a cool color combination, and so that's my number 5 right there.
Yeah. I feel like I never watched TCU because whenever Big 12 games are on air, it's OU or Texas or, Baylor back when they were good. And then, you get TCU a run to the national championship. Really rooting for them. They are, in the game early, and then
all fell apart.
Yeah, I'll forever be a Max Duggan fan, though.
Oh, yeah.
So, Chargers third string quarterback.
Let's go.
Baden, let's do this like a snake draft. What's your number 4?
My number 4. You know what? I think I'm going to stick with the purple and black, and I'm going to go the all blackout Ravens. Blackout Ravens, I think, and I'll tell you why. Not necessarily because it's the coolest or the flashiest, but I think if you think of any NFL team, I think all blackout Ravens uniforms are probably strike the most fear in your heart. They're the most intimidating. And then you throw Derrick Henry with a blackout face mask in there, couple black arm sleeves. Oh my gosh, terrifying. So I'm going to put them at number 4 just for the intimidation factor. I think they just look cool. They look like they're about to go to battle, go to war.
Yeah.
So I am not a Ravens fan, actually. I'll tell you that. But I do like the blackout uniforms.
Playing the Ravens, man, I mean, it's pretty, football-wise, it's pretty much going to a battle.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Number 4 for me, I'm kind of throwing two jersey combinations in here, but they're the same team, so we'll let it count.
Okay.
We got the Chargers. I like their, I don't know, is it like powder blue now? But especially their navy. I don't know if they wear it anymore, but man, the dark blue color rush with the white helmet and the dark blue outlined bolt on their helmet. Love that. I guess it's an alternate jersey. But even their powder blue that they wear, their normal home jerseys. Man, Justin Herbert, great. Chargers rep their jerseys really well.
Definitely.
You give them good colors, that helps. But man,
Just the
love those jerseys.
mm-hmm.
I guess number 3 for me now.
All right.
Spoiler alert, my top 3 are all college jerseys.
Oh.
So number 3, going to the SEC, we have their Tennessee jerseys. Their orange are really cool, but we also have their blackout
the
jerseys.
new ones. I was just looking at those. They're not on my list, but they're definitely amazing.
And if you get imagine Joe Milton starting for Tennessee with blackout and orange numbers, orange, Tennessee T in the side of his helmet, throwing an 80-yard pass. Maybe not 80 yards, but man, those jerseys, I don't remember what they're called. I think it has something to do with the squirrel, but I don't know. It's Tennessee.
Yeah. It's Tennessee.
But yeah, great jerseys. That's my number 3.
Okay. My number 3 is kind of like it's different teams, but the same jersey. I'm gonna do a jersey concept, and that's all white.
Okay.
And then whatever helmets, like Saints, the all white. I really like that. When the 49ers have the white top bottom, I like that. Bengals all white, and they're literally all white. Mm-hmm. I think all white just looks clean. What I really don't like is when people wear white jerseys with dark colored pants, like white and black. I don't think that looks good. Like white and any dark color, no. But if you have an all white away jersey, I think those look really clean. So I think the Panthers might do it. The Panthers have an all white. Saints go all white, and they look really good in it. And 49ers go all white.
Okay.
I would say. And so those Panthers, Saints, 49ers, all white are all together for me.
Those are your top 3 like whiteout jerseys.
Yes, and
okay.
all those top 3 are number 3.
Okay. Yeah. My honorable mention was the Cowboys, white color rush. But I don't know. Those whiteout jerseys don't really hit for me. Sure, the all white is cool, but I feel like the Saints try to do a little too much with it. I haven't seen the Panthers though. That should be interesting.
I just know watching the same Christian McCaffrey highlight tape before every football game in my high school career, the all white ones, they schmacked.
Okay.
Cool.
What's your number 2 best jerseys? We're almost to the top.
My number 2 best jersey is, I'm just going to include the ones that we've seen in game so far, is the Texans candy red. All red. That's number 2 for me. So clean. So clean. By far, I think that's number 2 for me for the coolest jerseys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like those. The red ones they released look really cool too.
Mm-hmm.
But, I remember turning on a game. I don't remember which one it was. And seeing the Texans in those jerseys, and I hadn't really realized that they were going to wear those yet. And that was, man, it's just so fun to get to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Already fun to watch the Texans, but those jerseys make it so much better.
Oh, yeah.
Is it my turn to do the number 2 now? Okay,
your turn for number 2.
Got lost there.
Yes.
This, it's kind of a classic, but man, it still hits different. Maybe this is just a bias towards the color blue, with the Navy or with the Chargers, but we have North Carolina. They're I don't know. There's so many different types of blue. Whatever North Carolina blue is.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like a baby blue or like a but I know what you mean.
With the the classic feel of North Carolina already, and then you give their football team that jersey.
Mm-hmm.
I love it with the blue jersey, blue helmet, and white pants.
Mm-hmm.
I think that jersey combination, especially when North Carolina is good.
Yeah,
it's fun to root for the football team of a basketball school. Like when Kansas is good, love rooting for Kansas. Rooting for Kansas basketball, whatever.
Yeah,
Everyone
it doesn't
does.
really matter. But their football team,
Mm-hmm.
because they get overlooked.
All right, so number one.
Number one for you.
Based on
Hank.
the fact that you haven't said this yet, I'm assuming it's your number one as well. We've got the University of Oregon.
Yep.
And I have pretty much anything that they wear on there. I mean, you have the... okay, it helps when the owner of Nike
Yeah, I was
went
just
to
looking
your
through 'em
school.
right now.
And so, yeah, I mean, the thing that Oregon does is they have pretty much a different uniform combination every single game. And so ones that I've really liked recently are the eggshell jerseys. It's all white with, the black spots. The whole Marcus Mariota era with the, I don't know what yellow that is. It's like kind of yellow color rush with the weird wings on the helmet. Those are really cool. And then just the green and yellow.
Yeah.
Although, okay, some of my other favorites, I mean, everything Oregon wears is awesome. But the throwbacks, and I don't remember if this is an every year thing, but I remember Bo Nix wearing them this past year. Oh yeah, with the
Yellow helmet, yellow pants.
with the duck on the side of the helmet.
Mm-hmm.
Man, all those so clean.
Mm-hmm.
Brings back good memories of watching Justin Herbert. I was not into football yet whenever Marcus Mariota was playing. Sorry, that may make some of y'all realize how young I am, but oh well. Seeing those highlights, and man, those jerseys are so cool. And I'm assuming that's your number one as well.
That is
but
also my number one, and I specifically, the eggshell jerseys, I think are just so clean, and I like that. Like Oregon pretty much just wears every color green. They're not stuck to one shade of green. Like for instance, with the eggshell jerseys, they have like a darker, like almost like a army-ish green, and then they got like bright green for some uniform. They're all over the map. But and also I don't even know if this was just a concept or if I'm pretty sure they actually wore these. But the breast cancer awareness ones, the pink.
I don't remember if they ever did a pink jersey, but they've done pink numbers.
Not a full pink jersey, but the pink numbers.
Yeah, they've worn those.
I think those look really cool. But yeah, Oregon has to be number one. And like you said, the Nike owner going to Oregon helps. But yeah, that was my number one by far. And they just beat the Texans out. But yeah, they definitely have the best jerseys.
Props to Nike for designing amazing jerseys.
You done good, Nike. You done good.
Yeah, I think we've talked about the UFL minor leagues like that. They're also not. We said they're not afraid to make rule changes because they just want their games to be fun to watch. There's another thing that UFL does. They're not afraid to make crazy uniform concepts. You see the San Antonio Brahmas, yellow and black with like horns on the side of their helmet.
Yeah.
And I think at first it was really weird. The all yellow jerseys, maybe call them the Bumblebees and not the Brahmas. But I think it looks cool. It's kind of grown on me.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the Brahmas uniforms. I
also
the Panthers is kind of like a USC kind of.
The Michigan Panthers from the UFL, or is that?
Yeah, the Michigan Panthers. It's like Florida, not USC. I apologize, Florida State, but with some light blue in it.
Yeah,
which I think is kind of cool. And then I will say what I think are really ugly is. I don't even think they're a team now. I think this was when it was just USFL. But the Maulers uniforms, Clemson. So sorry, Clemson. I don't like your uniforms either. They're not my favorite.
Okay.
Just the purple and orange is not. I don't like purple. I don't love the purple and orange. The Clemson uniforms are definitely better than the Pittsburgh Maulers.
Well,
but I'm not a big fan of that concept.
Because it was the purple and orange, and they switched their color concept to blue and not blue. Like really dark blue and yellow. And so everything they try to do is weird, especially because there was already like a dark blue and yellow team in the USFL.
Yeah, it doesn't really.
So, yeah, some of those jerseys hit. The old Seattle Sea Dragons with the orange color rush. Loved those. If the UFL expands, love to see the Sea Dragons back in there. Or just the same jersey concepts.
Yeah, on anybody.
I don't know. Sea Dragons, the name just kind of
Yeah, that kind of it makes the jersey. They go together hand in hand.
yeah. We talked about some jerseys we don't like. It's probably a hot take, but a lot of jerseys that are cool just because of the history really aren't that cool to me. People love the USC jerseys. People love the Florida State jerseys. Man, there's just nothing really cool about those. Sure they're cool, but there's nothing that sets them above the rest. UCLA. UCLA is like, they have some cool blue, but they always try to incorporate the like tan into it.
I do not like the tan.
I think is weird. No. USC, it's not red and yellow. Red and yellow, you got Lightning McQueen, and so everything red and yellow kind of hits a little different. But it's not the same shade of red.
It's kind of like it's a maroon almost, like a crimson.
If we're talking about maroon schools, Texas A&M as of recently hasn't had great jerseys, but you look back at the Johnny Manziel era, and man, some of those jerseys have been great. I think, Jimbo Fisher and some of their other coaches have been more classy and not really wanted to risk with their uniforms, or not really, not wanted to risk, but
not be too showy.
Yeah,
more of like a just look normal and then play really good.
But
kind of people,
although now that we have sorry, I've been an A&M fan my whole life. Don't go to A&M, but they now that they have a better coach, not a better coach, maybe a better coach, but a new coach. Hopefully,
branch out a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see some cooler jerseys.
I will say, while we're on the topic of jerseys that we don't like as much, or that I actually like them, but a lot of people don't, is I was just thinking about it while you were talking about Florida State, and I was thinking, in the NFL, kind of the Buccaneers, not the exact same colors, but kind of the same concept. Creamsicle or no creamsicle for the Buccaneers? What do you think? You like the creamsicle jerseys?
So creamsicle are cool. It's just weird to me that a team that is red and
like gold, like bronze, brownish,
can then wear a creamsicle orange jersey. Both are cool. It's just kind of weird that they're together.
The creamsicle doesn't show me. It doesn't like scream Buccaneer.
True, definitely.
Then the red does.
I'm sure a lot of this is that we didn't grow up in the creamsicle era. And so I like, the Buccaneers I know are Tom Brady leading them to the Super Bowl, or James Winston throwing 30 interceptions, 33 touchdowns. Buccaneers creamsicle jerseys, though. I don't know. I'll kind of leave it at meh.
Meh. I think that's fair. I think watching videos and seeing pictures and looking at football cards of old Buccaneers players with the creamsicle jerseys, like, that's cool. But when they, like, see concepts of Buccaneers with the creamsicle jerseys, it's not as cool. Because it just feels like an old-timey kind of thing, So, but I think, like, I have a lot of old football cards, and the Buccaneers creamsicle jerseys on those, just because it kind of goes with the vibe, they're perfect. But I don't love the concept of some, and it's a lot of the jerseys now. Like throwback jerseys on the uniforms today are always my favorite. But yeah.
If we're talking about throwback jerseys like the Buccaneers creamsicle, one that I somehow forgot earlier, probably wouldn't have been in my top 5, but honorable mention at least. You got the Oilers jerseys. And sure, it's weird now that like the Titans are the Oilers.
Yeah. Boo. Boo.
Especially because they wore them against the Texans, right?
Yeah.
And so,
disrespect.
Definitely disrespect in there. But man, just the powder blue, I guess, and the red oil rig, I guess, on the side.
Yeah, I think it's a rig.
Man,
so I think that's what you call it.
So cool.
So I'm glad the Texans are kind of trying to take it back with the powder blue H. Maybe it's a little different color, but with the H and the red, I think they're trying to get as close as they can without getting sued.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the University of Houston just said they're basically wearing Oilers jerseys, and then was told they can't wear them anymore. So, and then if we're talking about the USFL, I guess it was first an XFL team that they moved to the USFL division, but the Houston Roughnecks, admittedly tried to mimic those jerseys.
Yeah.
Just with the, the oil rig kind of thing. It doesn't look much like the Oilers jerseys.
But the same kind of color deal.
Yeah. Similar colors, and then, you got the same theme. And Houston, so.
Mm-hmm. No, those are great jerseys, great uniforms. I think that the Texans and Titans should play for them.
Okay.
Best, we should just scrap whatever schedule they've come up with so far. Just scrap it, okay? Not scrap it, but just add in an extra game, and we can do best 2 out of 3. Titans v Texans. Winner gets to keep the jersey.
Hall of Fame game. Each team wears the Oilers jerseys.
Yeah, and
do white versus blue.
Mm-hmm.
It's because the Texans are in the Hall of Fame game, right?
Yes.
Is it the Bears?
I think it's the Bears.
Okay, because they also play the regular season.
Mm-hmm. What? Yeah. I think it's Texans and Bears. Yeah. Preseason is the Hall of Fame game.
Mm-hmm. By the time this episode is out, the schedule may be released, but I don't know when in May the schedule's being released. It's just May. So
yeah, they're not very specific with that.
It'll be fun to get to react to whenever it's out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I tried to research the other day, and all I could see was May. Apparently, it's always been a Thursday, and so it's likely that it'll be either this or next Thursday.
Oh yeah.
Probably next Thursday, but
we'll have to definitely have to cover that. Definitely have to let y'all know our picks, our wins.
Oh yeah.
See the Texans going 17-0, and winning the Super Bowl, never losing a game for the next 10 years. That's what's gonna happen.
Sounds like your retro bowl.
I'm calling it now.
That basically was my retro bowl. That was the Texans were the first team I ever used in retro bowl, and I won the Super Bowl in my 3rd year, and raised my salary cap enough to where I never lost.
Yes, let's go.
And then, if we're talking retro bowl or Madden franchise, but I never really got into that. Retro bowl was fun for long car rides, kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
What you do is you go in the hardest mode, you go in extreme mode, or all Madden mode, and especially in college retro bowl, you go to the lowest team and just go up the rankings. I started at, I don't remember, some FCS school that didn't even have a postseason. I think it was an Ivy League school, and made my way up to, I don't know, some low, I think it was Boston College, and then made my way from Boston College to LSU. Hey. And so I was really bad once I got to LSU, but hey, it's a grind that matters, right?
Oh yeah.
That'll make the new college football video game coming out this summer extra fun, Start at University of Louisiana Monroe. Move your way up to taking Nick Saban's place at Alabama.
Oh yeah. The new Alabama era. Hank Lay.
Oh yeah. That's me. But if we're talking about jerseys like we were talking about earlier, so something that makes or a jersey matchup that makes an international game this season really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the game in Brazil. So I was reading that because obviously this is a soccer stadium.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Brazilian soccer team that plays there. I don't remember what the team is called, but their arch rival is green.
Oh.
And who are the teams that are playing there? Are the Eagles and the Packers. So it's not that big a deal, right? Just, it's not going to be that big a deal that they're green. But hey, no, apparently it is a really big deal.
Mm-hmm.
You're not allowed to wear green in that stadium.
Yeah, the soccer fans don't mess around. They'll set you on fire. It's true.
Yeah. And there was even a player that was fined, I don't remember how much, but fined for wearing green cleats during a match in that stadium.
Really?
So, what are we going to see the Eagles and the Packers do? What this article was saying is that probably the Eagles, who are the home team, will wear their blackout jerseys, and the Packers will wear their white jerseys. But still, they're
green helmet, green numbers.
Yeah, because I guess the Packers don't have a white helmet.
No,
Like you gotta wear the green helmet, green cleats, or like white or black cleats. Like I was thinking, oh, it's Brazil, like green, a good color for that country.
Yeah.
Green teams.
No.
Someone didn't think about something there.
No. Yeah. No. And it'll be interesting. It'll be the first game that those two teams have played where there probably isn't a single fan wearing green, or hopefully for that fan, he's not wearing green, or else
hopefully they know.
Hopefully some American tourist doesn't go to watch the game, show up wearing green, and then get lit on fire.
Yeah, there's gonna be. I think that game's gonna be September 6th. It's the Friday of Week 1, and yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what happens with the green.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, you gotta think that's an accident or a coincidence, but it's an interesting matchup.
Yeah, imagine if you couldn't go into the Chicago Bears stadium wearing green. But yeah, man, soccer fans, like what you said, there's some soccer fans or soccer stadiums in Brazil used to literally have moats around the field so that people couldn't storm the field.
Yeah. Yeah, they just get intense. They love their soccer, man. It's not really understandable. That's a little that's a little too much into the game because it is just a game. Yeah. But hey, then love the passion.
You got is it the next World Cup that'll be in the US?
Yeah, the next World Cup and the next Olympics after Paris. I think will both be in the US. I think the Olympics is in LA. I could be wrong though.
With the World Cup coming to the US, you have all the NFL teams changing their fields to grass.
Yeah.
And how great is that? We love that. But they're going to change it back to turf after.
Oh.
So think about all of the happy Giants and Jets players that they finally have a grass field.
Finally get a grass field, and then it'll get taken right away from them.
Yeah. I think there are two things in the modern NFL that I don't think this will happen without the media backing it, but could cause a player strike, are the fields. Because we saw a good bit of injuries last year. Not an insane amount.
But enough to cause people to stop and question.
Yeah. And so if that keeps happening, if there was a vocal player who goes down because of the turf, or at least says it's about the turf, people are going to start saying like, all right, we're not playing on turf. And so that's not the kind of thing that would make the NFL have to stop for a strike. That's the kind of thing where players would say like, or the NFL would be like, okay, we'll just schedule the rest of our games on grass fields until we get the turf replaced in your stadium.
Yeah.
And the only other thing that I can think of that would cause a strike is tackling rules.
Yeah, if you're a defender and they just kind of take away all your forms of defense.
Yeah, but like I said, I don't see a strike happening without significant media support.
Yeah, and you'd probably have to get pretty bad at to that point,
I mean, we saw almost a fourth of the starting quarterbacks go down, and there's no talk of a strike. And so we'd have to see maybe over half of the starting quarterbacks go down, and it's like them blame it on the turf. If we see Mahomes and Josh Allen and like Lamar Jackson all go down because of turf injuries, something's going to happen.
Yeah, no, but it needs to be big names, and it needs to be supported and get really mainstream before anything's going to happen. Because, I mean, the money that it's expensive to keep up grass to a good level. It's the painting it, everything.
Well, we saw that in the Super Bowl.
So it definitely is going to have to be something really big and what is deemed by the media as a big issue before they devote the kind of funds to, not that they don't have it, but devote money to fixing that problem.
Yeah, we were talking about international games a minute ago. What effect do you think these international games are having on like the international market of the NFL?
I mean, first off, I just think it's really cool. You're just trying to spread it because, football, baseball is the American sport. Football is like the American sport. They don't do football anywhere else. At least not to the, they do, but not to the extent, there's the German football league,
Yeah.
but no one knows that exists, So
Not even people in Germany know that
hey,
that exists.
I know it exists. So
Yeah.
shout out Sam Brink. Look him up or don't. Anyways, but
I don't know if the
Yeah.
Veden Vikings have their roster
The
online.
Veden Vikings probably don't have the roster up. But I think it's really cool because it's expanding. I think Roger Goodell, there's at least some whisperings about expansion. I think that would have to take a lot, or like moving teams even to different countries. I think that's a cool idea. I think that would make the season a lot harder unless you had a whole like conference expansion, because otherwise, just the travel and everything, it's going to be a whole new level of expenses and keeping stuff up. But I think just the international games are just fun. I think it's just spreading American football. I think that different countries are getting into it. I mean, they fill the stadiums. It's not like no one's going. So I don't know. I think it's cool. I have nothing against it, but I think if we're talking like expansion in the future, there's a lot that's going to have to go into that, and I think you'll have to add some teams. I don't think you could just move one or two teams over there. I think you'd have to probably set up a whole nother conference or at least another division over there, so that you're not having a team. That's kind of not fair to that team, is to have them so many plane rides and everything, and where are they going to put their facilities, and I don't know. It's just a lot to think about. But I love the foreign, if we're just talking about the foreign games that they play, I love those. I think those are awesome.
I think it's obviously a great business decision for the NFL, especially not giving every team the right to every country. Like, okay, these teams, they're allowed to compete in these markets. And so it's not just automatically letting all the NFL in. And so, it's a supply and demand kind of. And so, like, if a team was to move over, especially with the state that their stadium is in and renovations and everything, is probably the Jaguars. They've hosted a lot of games in London, so we could possibly see the London Jaguars. We'll see the London Jaguars playing against, the Frankfurt Sentinels or something like that.
Yeah. No, but it is, like you were saying, it's cool that they're kind of keeping it specific to specific teams, because that actually builds a fan base. It's not just they're just like, oh yeah, you have two different teams playing in London every year. No, like the London people know, okay, yeah, the Jaguars, like they know the Jaguars. They're able to be fans of this specific team because they're always playing there. So I think that's kind of cool. I didn't think about that till you said that, but it kind of builds a fan base around a certain team, because that's the team that's playing in your country.
Yeah. And so I don't know if you've asked your brother about this, but like, do people in Germany know, like, oh yeah, the NFL?
I haven't talked to him about it much, but I mean, I just look at just the stadiums are full, so people are going to the games. So there has to be some kind of talk. They have to be, I don't know. Like, I know they probably don't watch much NFL, just for the point, like, at least not live. Because, like, for instance, the Super Bowl, my brother it was like 2 in the morning while he was watching that, just because of the time zone change. I don't know that they have chance to watch much of it live. I don't know that for a fact, but just timing wise, it seems like some games would be pretty hard to catch. But I mean, they pack the stadium up in Frankfurt, so I would think that they definitely know what's going on. It's definitely not as big as soccer, but that's to be expected in Europe and South America.
Everywhere else in the world.
Everywhere,
basically.
literally everywhere except for America. So,
I mean, you get
but it's
Brandon
getting bigger.
Aubrey
Yeah.
moving from soccer to the NFL and making a ton more money than he was.
Yeah. Such a cool story. And being an excellent kicker.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
For
for the Cowboys.
Yeah, I think the other piece about scheduling is that, international games for us are like 9:30 on Sunday morning. And so I don't get to watch it. I'm normally at church at that time. And so, I'll check the score, but
Yeah.
you give the Chiefs versus the Dolphins to Germany. Like, come on. Like, we want to watch that game.
That is a big game. Yeah, so that's... Well, also, that's another thing, just while we're talking about important games being kind of not kept from the general public, but harder to access, is Peacock.
Mm-hmm.
That streaming service getting a literal playoff game being only on Peacock, not a fan. Baden is not a fan.
It's a good business decision for them because I think
Yes, for them it's great.
Streaming services are pretty much the future of TV.
Mm-hmm.
And,
It's smart and it makes sense, but I don't like it because I don't have Peacock.
what you're doing is supporting piracy.
Hey, you know what?
I'm not
Piracy
supporting it.
Is not a victimless
It is
crime.
not a victimless crime.
Yes, emphasis on not. Before all the Disney movies, it says that. So just remember that.
All the old, watching Cars. Piracy is not a victimless crime.
Piracy is not a victimless crime.
I think, NFL expansion, the Pirates. I guess you already have an MLB team named the Pirates. But, hey, that could be a cool one.
Definitely. I mean,
We'll
we got the Raiders and the Buccaneers, but Pirates, it just has a different ring to it.
I used to be really confused that we had the Raiders and the Steelers. I was like, wait, so
Raiders.
they're raiding and then they're stealing?
And they're stealing.
But
No.
we'll have to talk about NFL expansion at some point. That's one of my favorite hypothetical things is, okay, if the NFL expanded, here's where it would make sense. Or international expansion.
Yeah.
Like the commissioner said, and if the commissioner says something, it means we could see it in the not too distant future. Yeah. And he said I could see a division in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Which would be crazy, especially travel costs. And, imagine having to play the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
You're flying from London or even Frankfurt, Germany. That's like almost a whole day of travel.
Yeah.
That just is such a huge disadvantage.
It's a huge disadvantage. And, this is not as big as that because it's not the players. But, imagine you have season tickets. And, or, you just, go to every, some people, they go to every game. Every game. It's like, oh, well, I'm going to have to go to Europe twice. I guess maybe it's just a fun vacation idea.
True, yeah.
But it definitely, like I said, it would add a whole new element and a whole new set of costs that they don't have to think about right now.
Yeah.
But it would be cool. It would be cool.
We went from talking about jerseys to talking about strikes to talking about expansion.
A little bit of Retro Bowl thrown in there as well.
We had some Retro Bowl.
Pretty successful day.
Okay, if you're, before we finish up, if you're playing Madden, are the Texans your go-to team? Do you have a go-to team?
First off, let me say that I am terrible at Madden. Second off,
well, that's also because you're playing Rocky.
That is my little brother he's that guy at Madden. But I always like playing with the 49ers, and I just run it with Christian McCaffrey.
Yes,
so
my brother did that against me a couple of days ago.
So always got to do that. And the Texans, just so I can wear their candy red uniforms. Except we don't have the latest Madden. We have Madden 2023, I guess. And so there's no CJ Stroud. Or 2022. Whichever one doesn't have CJ Stroud. Davis Mills is my quarterback. So I don't love playing with the Texans because it means you are probably going to lose. But you can still wear the cool uniforms. So I'd say either Texans or 49ers. Might throw some Saints in there. And then I put Taysom Hill as my quarterback. And I just try and hurdle everybody. I usually fumble. But
yeah, that's true. My brother likes playing Madden, and I love playing him in Madden, but I actually practice some.
You're not messing around.
No, I practice doing RPOs and options, hot routes, but it's fun. Madden's fun. Especially, I have Madden 24 and 23 to 24 isn't that big of a difference, but man, the graphics recently, so good.
Pretty good. No, yeah, I have a lot of fun playing it. What me and my little brother have a rule that you can't kick a field goal or go for regular 2 after touchdowns. You have no excuses. You have to do a fake field goal after you score. So that's the one rule every time. The other rule is if you're winning by too much, you have to start lateraling it.
Okay.
Yeah, because we always try and make the game close. We go to overtime almost every time. Like, it'll be the end of the second quarter. I'm down 35-7, and we'll end up going to overtime, like 42-42, and then Rocky will win. But just laterals, all right? If the game isn't fun enough, you got to start throwing the ball behind you. Add a little element.
Yeah, we don't really, and Tucker and I don't really make provision for people who are down a lot. We just kind of run up the score. But
sometimes you gotta. It's a little humility.
it's
lesson in humility.
We're pretty evenly matched, so normally it doesn't happen. Recently, I've somehow had success using Hunter Henry and the Patriots.
Hey.
But yeah, we also updated
Tight end corner routes just every play.
Go to playbook, go to verticals. You got tight end attack. Everyone's going vertical, and you got Hunter Henry running like a post route.
Yep.
Great.
Yep.
But yeah, we have updated the roster, so we have Drake May and the Patriots, and
Oh yeah.
which doesn't really add that much because rookies are like 77 over, or overall, I guess. But
Yeah.
it's fun.
Still though, you just start to get a feeling. That's what we'll have to do when the schedule comes out. We'll have to just take a whole day and just sim the whole Madden season.
Oh yeah.
And see what happens. And that is exactly what will happen.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If the Bears win the Super Bowl in Madden, it means they're winning the Super Bowl in real life.
Of course. That's how it works.
You can quote me on that. Madden is real life. Thanks for listening to the Nice Catch Podcast.
If you love football, be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast and join us each episode for football news and analysis from the offseason all the way through the playoffs.
This is the Nice Catch Podcast.